Welcome back to Wired to be Rich. It's your girl, Manda Lea, and today we're talking about something everybody thinks they've mastered, but most people get dead wrong. And it's called timing. Now listen, when everybody loves to post about jumping, saying things like, I quit my job, I left him, I booked the flight. I think that is so cute, but the real leverage, the real boss level energy, is not just knowing when to leap, it's knowing when to stay. Because sometimes the bag, the wisdom, the glow up isn't the part that feels the most uncomfortable. The contract you're low-key over with, the city you've outgrown, the person who's driving you insane but is also teaching you something you didn't know you needed. And the gag is, when you learn how to sit in the tension without folding, you collect more data, you sharpen your intuition, and you leave when it's time. Not when you're mad and trying to prove a point. There's a big difference between that. So today's episode is called Leverage the Wait, Timing Your Exit and Your Moves. We're getting into how to hold your position, squeeze the value out of a season, and know exactly when it's time to say, all right, I'm out, without losing your power on the way out. Let's jump right into it.
She's not just a podcast host. She's a movement.
Manda Lea is teaching people how to break cycles and build real wealth, mentally, financially, and spiritually.
People all over the world are waking up to her message.
Wired to be Rich isn't just a podcast, it's a mindset shift.
She makes you believe again in yourself, in your power, and your ability to actually have the life you always known was meant for you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Manda Lea, entrepreneur, speaker, and founder of Balance and Destiny, and this is Wired to be Rich. All right, let's really talk about this thing called endurance, because somewhere along the line, people started equating endurance with weakness. Like if you stay too long in a job, in a contract, in a relationship, or in the city, you're automatically deemed as settling, right? But sometimes endurance is the ultimate power move. Endurance isn't about being stuck. It's about collecting data. It's you saying, I'm going to sit right here, front row, and watch how this plays out. Because the longer I sit, the more information I get. And information is leverage. Think about it like this. You ever wanted to quit a job because your boss was a nightmare? Because that's been me. The emails are wild. The every day you're like, okay, I'm out of here. But then because you stayed a little longer, you learned how to negotiate, or you built connections you didn't even know you needed. Or you grabbed that one last check that padded your savings and gave you an exit runway. That wasn't weakness, it's strategy. Or relationships. Some of y'all be so quick to just ghost people, and I get it. The emotional breaking point is real, but let's be honest. Some of the best lessons, the best glow-ups come right after that breaking point. When you push past the I'm over this energy and start asking, okay, what is this trying to teach me before I dip? Because I'm finna dip. But you want to make sure you collect all the data and all the information you need so you don't be repeating the same lessons in different people. Same thing with cities. You can hate your apartment, the traffic, the vibe, and be plotting your escape. But sometimes the universe is like, I want you to sit tight. There's a person you're supposed to meet here. There's a skill you're supposed to sharpen here. There's money you haven't collected yet. And if you bail too soon, you'll miss it. So when I say endurance as strategy, I'm saying staying doesn't mean settling. Staying means studying. You're either conforming alignment or you're confirming the season. Either way, you walk out with more than you came with, and that is a real power move. Now, let me be real with you for a second, because I'm not sitting here acting like I always waited perfectly. I've quit a job with no backup before. Yep. Scary as hell, right? The kind of thing people warn you never to do. But here's the thing. I didn't quit the first time I felt disrespected. I didn't quit just because I wanted to prove I wasn't the one to play with. I stayed long enough to make sure the timing was right. Because the day that I quit my job, I had already been wanting to quit for months prior to that. I held out. And you know what happened? Not even 2 weeks later, I landed a role way better. Better pay, better alignment, better energy. The kind of opportunity that feels like it was custom made for me. And I promise you, if I had left earlier, if I had stormed out at the first sign of disrespect, I would have been sitting at home longer than I wanted to, stressing about bills, questioning if I had made the right decision. Or worse, I would have taken some random underpaid job just because I panicked and wanted the security of something. And that kind of move sets you back more than staying put ever could. The job that I got, not even 2 weeks later, this is how magical and ordained it was. I didn't even apply to this job. I literally just had to open my LinkedIn. I updated it, and the CEO of the company reached out to me saying that he had a new position. And there was a recruiter that I had interviewed with some months prior for a different company that happened to be friends with the CEO, and they directly recommended me. And the CEO reached out to me. I got to name my own terms. I got to operate through them through my LLC versus a W-2 employee. I got to set my own pay. I mean, it was literally like the timing was perfect. It was perfect. It couldn't have come at a better second. And that's what I mean. Like when you wait on timing, things come to you. You just have to be patient. That's the whole difference between emotional timing and strategic timing. Emotional timing would have had me broke, scrambling, and stressed. Probably calling my mom like, girl, I don't know what I just did. But strategic timing, it had me walking into an upgrade like it was already waiting for me because it was. The door was held open the whole time. I just needed to walk through at the right second. And let me add this. Quitting with no backup isn't always dumb. Sometimes it's the bravest, most aligned decision you can make. But here's the catch. It is dumb if you do it out of pride. It is dumb if you do it because you're mad and want to prove a point. That's not strategy, it's ego. And ego doesn't pay rent. The cheat code is waiting until you feel that internal shift. Not the anger, not the pettiness, not the watch me show them energy, but that deep, grounded energy that says, okay, it's done now. That feeling. That's when you know you've squeezed the value out of a situation and you're moving from clarity, not chaos. This is why I really do preach the importance of really knowing yourself. You have to know yourself to your core. You have to listen to your intuition, listen to your body, your gut feeling, right? Because you'll know when it's time to pivot. And I'm not just talking about relationships. I'm talking about jobs, cities, friendships, anything. You'll know when it's time to leap. You won't second guess it. When you're second guessing it, it's not time yet. Hold on, because there's a lesson there still. It's really simple. You just have to pay attention, y'all. And when you move like that, you step into the unknown with confidence. You step into it knowing you didn't bail too early. You didn't shortchange yourself, and you're not running away from something. You're walking towards something better. And every single time I've honored that timing, the universe, God, or the markets, because this is an investment podcast, right? We talk all about markets and trading and all the things. Whatever you name it or whatever name you want to put on it has met me on the other side with more than I expected every single time. I'm not just saying that, y'all. I am literally telling you every single time that I waited on the right timing, I was met with more than I expected. Here's the thing about people, places, contracts, partnerships, right? Every single one of them has potential value. And the gag is, half the time we don't even see it until we're looking back like, oh, wow, that's what that season was about. You're not stuck, you're mining. Think about it like this. If you were literally digging for gold, you wouldn't walk away from the mine just because the first few scoops look like dirt. You'd keep digging until you either found the gold or realize, okay, this site is tapped out and it's costing me more energy than it's worth. That's how you've got to look at seasons in your life. You're not trapped, you're extracting. That job that feels boring, it might be where you learn how to negotiate like a boss, or where you meet somebody who opens the door. That city you feel over, it might be the place you build your discipline, stack your money, or sharpen your network before you graduate to the next level. Even that relationship that tested every ounce of your patience. Sometimes that person is the exact mirror that forces you to level up. They show you your blind spots, your patterns, your tolerance. And once you get that data, you're free to leave wiser than you came in. Everybody has value. Everything has value, right? When you reframe enduring a season as an investment window, it changes everything. You stop asking, why am I still here? And start asking, what else am I supposed to collect while I'm here? Because there's always something. A skill, a connection, a confidence boost, a lesson. And the best part, when you know you're in an investment window, you stop panicking about leaving too soon. You move through that season with curiosity instead of resentment. And listen, investment windows don't last forever. You're not supposed to stay in that job, that city, or that relationship forever unless it is aligned and ordained for you. But if you leave before the window closes, you're basically pulling your money out before the interest hits. And how stupid is that? All because you're afraid or you're mad. And I'm not saying that I got this perfect too, because sometimes I'll pull out early too, but then I'll say, you know what? There's still value here. It's hard, but I'm going to muster through it because I know that this is teaching me something, right? I'm not going to pull out my money before the interest hits. What's the point of even investing in it in the first place? Because guess what? I'm going to have to reinvest that money into a whole nother investment and wait for that interest to hit. Same thing. You're going to end up in another job with some of the same lessons. You're going to end up in another relationship. You're going to go through the same issues. That's the whole point, is to stick around just long enough to extract what's meant for you. And then you bounce when the cost outweighs the return. It's not settling, it's strategy. That's how you play the long game. Now, all right. So we've talked about waiting. We've talked about endurance, and we've talked about mining value. But let's get into the moment everybody's really waiting for, the jump. Because timing isn't just about sitting still. Timing is about knowing the exact second the leverage flips in your favor and saying, okay, now I'm out. This can easily be tied into day trading also. You have to know your ceiling. Before you enter any trade, any contract, any negotiation, any relationship, I don't care how many people or places are underestimating you. Know your ceiling, right? And then knowing your ceiling tells you when it's time to leave, when it's time to pivot, when it's time to take what you've learned and upskill that and uplevel that for the next thing. You have to know when it's time to get out, especially my day traders. Here's how you recognize that moment. Get a piece of paper, y'all, or mark this part of the episode. I'm going to tell you something crazy insightful, and I'm not joking. Listen to what I'm going to say. This is how you recognize that moment. First, the lessons start repeating themselves. You're not learning anything new. It's the same drama, the same patterns, the same meetings that feel like deja vu. That's the universe literally saying, we have covered this section already. You've got the point. It's time to move. Second, and this is really important, your body relaxes at the thought of leaving. That's a big one. If you picture walking away from whatever it is you're dealing with in life right now, and your chest feels lighter, your shoulders drop, your stomach unclenches, that's not fear, that's peace. That's your body giving you the green light. When I was faced with leaving that job, that's how I knew. I didn't have a backup, but I knew it was time. And I left, and it worked out for me. A lot of the things in life people always overcomplicate. Sometimes it really is that simple. It really is. And the quicker that y'all understand that, the faster things can work out for you. I'm not just saying this just to waste time talking to y'all. I'm a living blueprint of exactly what I'm saying. The last and third one is going to be the discomfort changes. At first, discomfort can grow you. It stretches you, teaches you, builds your grit. But when the discomfort stops teaching and starts draining, that's when it's time. When you're not sharpening anymore, you're just shrinking. You're becoming distracted. That's the difference between training weight and the dead weight. And here's the real gem. Jumping at that point isn't about proving a point. No, it's about reclaiming your power. People who move too early are still trying to send a message. I'll show you, I'll leave, I'll prove you wrong. But people who move at the right time, they don't have to prove anything. You're not nasty, you're not mean, you're just done, right? You exit clean, calm, and collected, and suddenly everyone realizes the shift. That's the art of jumping at the right time. You don't leave empty-handed. You don't leave bitter, and you don't leave drained. You leave upgraded, and you leave with leverage. That's what makes the difference between running away and moving up. Leverage isn't built in comfort. It's built in tension. The real game is knowing how long to sit in the heat before you move. And when you do move, letting it be because it's time. not because you wanted the last word. That right there is how you stop reacting and start running the table. Now, if this episode hit you, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with somebody who needs to hear it. Text it to that coworker who's about to quit with no plan. Post it on your story and tag me on Instagram at ForbesManda_, so I can repost you and cheer you on. And please drop a rating or review. It's how we keep growing this movement and bringing more people into the conversation. And listen, if you're serious about building wealth and power on your own terms, go tap into Balance and Destiny. That is my career and wealth strategy firm where we're giving you the frameworks, resources, and strategy to step into 6 and multi-6-figure lanes without burning out or selling your soul. Head over to www.balancedestiny.com or email me directly at info@balancedestiny.com if you're ready to level up. I've got some exciting new things cooking for you all, premium resources, insider tools, and some moves I can't speak on yet. So make sure you're on the Balance and Destiny newsletter. That's where I drop the good stuff first. This is Manda Lea, signing off. Stay wealthy in your mind, in your body, and in your brand. Play the long game, trust the timing, and when you move like the tables were already set for you to win. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.